Hi, I'm Mike. Just wanted to give a run through of how to set up sensepilot and how to optimize your setup. So let's get into it. The window you'll see is the camera feed of yourself. So here in this window, you'll be able to select if you want to use a different camera, if you've got an internal or an external webcam. For this demo, I'm just using the webcam that's inbuilt in my laptop. So the next setting we're going to do is the cursor control. So in this bar here, you can turn off the head tracking so it stops, or you can turn it back on, and as you can see with my head movements, it continues to move around. Then you can change the horizontal and vertical sensitivity, so that depends on the amount that you need to move your head for the head tracker to work. So the higher setting, you really don't need to move very much. And then the smoothness setting changes the speed at which the cursor moves across the screen. So if we set it to its highest, you'll see it's a bit slower. And if we change it down to its lower setting, it's quite fast. So the next page we have here is mouse bindings, where you can see all the clicking actions up at the top here. So left click and hold, scroll up, scroll down, double click, and right click and hold. So we've also got pause cursor and recenter, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So to map out left click, you can, if you want to use a keyboard press or a switch, this is how you do it. You go to keyboard actions, click this button, and then press on the physical switch or press on the keyboard, and that will map out that to perform a left click. Or you can go to facial expressions here and choose which one you want to use. So to show you, blink left. So when I close my left eye, it'll perform a click. Pucker mouth, smile, and so on. So I'm going to set it to pucker mouth. And here you can change the size of the gesture that you need to make. So the clicking action will be performed when it reaches this threshold number here. So when it moves from red to green, you'll see that it is performing the click. And you can go through and map out all of the individuals, but let's go into pause cursor now. So this one here is great if you're going to watch things like videos where you don't want the cursor moving around as you're looking around the screen. So if we set this to smile, so when I smile, it'll stop the head tracking. So as you can see, I'm moving around and it's not moving the cursor until I redo the action, and then it lets me retake control of the cursor. So the next one is recenter cursor, where if you look here, we let's set this to open mouth. So what this does is to recenter the cursor on your monitor, on your primary monitor. So when you do the action, it goes back to the center of the monitor. So it's a quick way of recalibrating as you go. So you can go through all of the individual scrolling actions and set them to your preferences, set the threshold numbers here at which that action is triggered. The next step is to go into keyboard bindings. So this is for mapping out games controls. So we're going to add a new binding. So you can either press a physical keyboard or you can use the on-screen keyboard like here. So let's say if we want to play a game, W is typically the command to move the character forwards. So I click that, close that, hit save. And so you can go through and pick out which of the facial gestures you would like to use, and then change the sensitivity settings again. But what we also have here is a setting to toggle on and off the key. So if it's on, it'll press and hold that key until you make that facial gesture action again. Or if it's off, it'll just press it once when you do that facial action. So for some games, you may want to have it set to toggle on, so you move your mouse to the left once, character begins moving forwards, and then you move mouth left again, for example, and then the character will stop. So the next section is game mode. So here, if we can turn game mode on and off, So what this does, this allows you to play first-person games with 360 degrees control of the character. So you can move around and change the angle at which the character will start to rotate. So when you hit a certain threshold, the cursor will continue to move, and then you'll be able to control in-game with game mode.